First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, let me go to Dr. Kent Hall, standing by right now. Doc, good morning. And I guess it's a little premature, but happy holidays. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
I guess it's not premature. Yeah.
No, it's not premature.
We're 2 weeks away.
Wow. So I did want to just briefly chat with you this morning on, obviously, RFK Jr. has been in the news recently in an interview. The president-elect, President Trump, saying that we're not going to change everything and reinvent the wheel. However, there are a lot of changes and what he calls improvements that are going to be made when it comes to the healthcare system and our food in the country. What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, so, a lot of it is a little bit of a, wait and see because, as you listen to what folks have been talking about, whether it's the president-elect, whether it's, RFK Jr. or whoever, things tend to change a little bit. They say one thing, but then when they're asked for further clarification, it kind of changes into a different tack. So, yeah. I'm not sure. So it's a little bit of a wait and see thing. I would say that, having the way that we do things looked at is a good thing. We need to make sure that we in medicine and especially in, improving medicine and regulating medicine and things like that we're doing the right thing and that we look internally. I mean, if it's done in a way that is, scientifically valid and things like that, I don't have any issues with it. It's when people, come out and say, oh, I believe, this, and then that becomes law or that becomes a regulation that it's like, well, wait a minute now, that flies in the face of what science has shown us to be true for so long. So we'll just have to see exactly what it is. There is concern in the scientific community and the healthcare community, certainly. But I take a watchful waiting kind of approach to it.
I do think that if I'm assuming that our diets in this country and the foods we consume, there's certainly room for improvement.
No, that's true. I mean, the whole thing with the, I was actually doing some reading over the weekend about, the development of nutritional guidelines and the food pyramid and stuff like that, and how the food pyramid was initially developed, was so different from a scientific standpoint, was so different than what was actually rolled out, and there's a real strong belief. Don't know for sure, but a real strong belief that the one that ultimately was put in place actually has played a huge part in terms of the epidemic of obesity that we have within the country because of the way that they talked about what portions of the different food groups needed to be done, and then when they went to the My Plate thing, that was an improvement, but still not great. So it's really fascinating, and if we could get more about science and less about politics and influence and stuff like that, I think that would be a good thing. So
it is an interesting time. I have to say it is an interesting time. And then one note when it comes to our foods. I was watching something just recently on it's a pastry chef who moved to Paris, and she opened up a bakery in Paris. And in the beginning, it did not do well at all because of one ingredient, and it was sugar. So she had to adjust her American recipes, and I think one of her big things is American cookies that she sells in Paris. She had to adjust the recipe because everything that she was making was too sweet for people in France. We in America are everything seems to be over sweetened. So when she adjusted and took out a lot of the sugar and made it the pastries less sweet and the cookies less sweet, all of a sudden it took off. But probably wouldn't fly right now in the U.S. because we've been trained to love sugar.
No, I think you're right. I think a lot of this is, habituation and the fact that it is, what we are expecting. And if we get something that we don't expect, then that's a problem, or that makes it less palatable for us, literally less palatable for us.
Yeah.
But the reality is, again, to your point, look at the European countries in general, and look at what their nutrition looks like, what their daily diet is, compared to the United States. And what you see is that we consume so many more carbohydrate foods, whether it's simple sugars or complex sugars or whatever, breads and things, and again that are added. They aren't the same breads that you get when you go to France or when you go to Italy, and so that is very, very true. And if we could get a little bit of a move in the direction of what the European diet looks like, I think that a lot of our obesity epidemic may start to wane. So.
Dr. Hall, as always, we appreciate it. We'll do it again next week. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and please be safe.
All right, you do the same.